Hey everybody, it's Ben, and I'm back once again with another video for you guys. Today I'm going to give you my quick thoughts on Batman Detective Comics issues 937, 938, and 939, which I've read digitally via Comixology. So the story picks up right after the events of the previous issue, with our Bat family narrowly escaping the clutches of the colony, which are a rogue military unit which have modeled themselves out of the Dark Knight using his tactics, his fighting prowess, his means of, utilizing the shadows and scare tactics, etc., to basically eliminate foreign enemies of the United States of America. So, once again, we have all of our Bat family of characters given their own chance to shine within the pages of these next three issues. In particular, Tim Drake actually takes center stage in terms of really shining throughout these next three issues, not only through his mastery of technology, but also the fact that he's got this genius level intellect, which he's really seeing as really utilizing and come up with some really crazy but pretty awesome ideas, actually. In particular, the fact that he went through all the trouble of basically building a underground transport system right in the heart of Gotham, which would enable the Bat family to be anywhere in Gotham City within a matter of minutes. And also the fact that he's built this belfry right in the center of Gotham City, which not only acts as a central hub or a central base of operations for the Bat family, but also the fact that it can actually self-repair, which is pretty freaking cool, actually. Particularly when you see the technology used by the Belfry and the fact that the colony have actually ransacked the place when they've raided it in the pages of the last couple of issues. We also see a potential nemesis introduced in the pages of these issues for Tim Drake, a fellow genius and a fellow pretty hardcore tech geek, if you would, in the form of Ulysses Hadrian Armstrong, who actually designed all of the military technology and the military drones that are being used by the colony. And there's also a reference to the events of Zero Year, which the Riddler managed to take control of Gotham City and the military couldn't do anything about it. So there's references back to Scott Snyder's run on Batman before he left with issue 52, I believe. Excuse me, taking a cup of tea. Anyway, so the action really ramps up within these next three issues with our Bat family going up against the colony. So altogether we have Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, Batwoman, aka Kate Kane Red Robin, aka Tim Drake. We have Spoiler, aka Stephanie Brown. We have Orphan, aka Cassandra Cain, and Clayface, aka Basil Karlo. So there's a really great scene in the pages of issue 938 where Cassandra basically walks up to a bunch of these colony henchmen when they're trying to make their getaway or their escape from the colony's base of operations. And one of the henchmen is just like, "They sent you here to fight all of us?" And Cassandra's just like, "Yep." And the next time you see her, she's literally wiping the blood off her face and she's like, "Hi!" And she stood all over like maybe 5 or 6 guys at least of the colony's henchmen, all just laid on the floor completely unconscious, battered and bruised and just beaten to a pulp, which again reaffirms just how awesome Cassandra Cain is, even within the New 52. Especially after reading the Kelly Pouquet run of Batgirl from the pre-New 52, sorry, which ran for a total of 70 plus issues, I believe. I want to say around 72 to 75, if I remember rightly. Anyway, so yeah, Cassandra Cain, even in the New 52, is pretty damn awesome to say the least. You also have some really fun banter between Steph and Tim, especially when she makes fun of his New 52 costume with the furry kind of robin wings. And she's like, if you don't want me to make any fun of your previous costume, just shut up and keep moving, which I thought was really funny. And again, just really affirms the handle that James Tynion IV really has on all of these characters, especially the relationships that tie all these characters together. Initially, if you saw my thoughts on Detective 934, 935, and 936, you recall that I was a bit skeptical regarding Detective Comics, especially with the sort of iffy characterization that James Tynion had on the characters of Batwoman, especially, as well as the bickering between Robin and Batwoman, as well as the sort of awkward relationship between Renee Montoya and Kate Kane. I know I didn't touch on this during that video, but since going back and rereading those issues in preparation to read these next three of the Rise of the Batman arc that's going on in Detective at the moment, I don't know, it just, looking back on it, that really bothered me too, but I didn't bring it up in the review video, so I thought I'd address the awkward situation between Renee and Kate here as well. But I'm happy to report that reading all of these issues back to back and then reading the most recent issues, the characterization seems to have really settled in with Tynion writing the characters, especially with, like I said, Tim Drake really given a chance to shine, as well as obviously Batwoman given her own chance to shine as well, and some great back and forth banter between obviously Cassandra and the henchmen, and Clayface as he's battling against the colony's forces as well as the great funny banter between Steph and Tim as they're trying to make their getaway from the colony's base of operations. Again, we get some potential reasoning as to why Jacob Kane really doesn't like the Waynes very much, and of course it ties back to that fateful evening when Thomas, Martha and Bruce decided to cut through the alleyway into Crime Alley, and then obviously, as we all know, Thomas and Martha were gunned down in front of an 8-year-old Bruce Wayne's eyes as his parents were murdered in front of him. So Jacob really didn't like the fact that Thomas decided to cut through the alleyway, and then obviously what happened. So it seems as if Jacob actually blames Thomas for the death of his sister, which might have been the potential reason why Jacob has such a hatred for the Waynes in particular. Not so much towards Bruce, his nephew, but particularly Thomas for basically getting his sister, Martha Kane as she was then called, killed during that evening in Crime Alley. There's also another really great scene when the team are trying to make their getaway from Tim Drake, where he actually turns the colony's headsets against them and makes them pretty much about to go deaf if they didn't actually turn the headsets off, which was again a really cool moment to showcase Tim's mastery of technology. We also have the colony basically then implementing a new plan, which is to eliminate 600 of Gotham's citizens whom they believe to be sleeper agents for the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows, which of course has its direct ties back to the Demon's Head, or the Head of the Demon, aka Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, depending on how you pronounce it. Ra's always sounded a bit better to me personally, so I'm just going to go with Ra's. Anyway, so Batman pretty much believes that the League of Shadows or the League of Assassins is a myth, and the fact that the colony are basically trying to eliminate 600 innocent people just because they believe they have ties to an organization which Batman believes to be is a myth. Now, if I remember rightly, in the pages of Batman and Robin, New 52, Batman came into conflict with Ra's al Ghul pretty heavily. So why would he believe that the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows is a myth? Surely he knows that Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins are tied intrinsically together. So why is it just weird? Just really weird. Unless, of course, I missed something in the Rebirth one-shot, and now they're believed to be a myth, which is strange considering all the history that has been established since the 1970s with Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams and Dick Giordano with creating Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins. Sorry, just that bugs me a bit, to be honest, because I'm a big fan of Ra's al Ghul as a character and the League of Assassins as an organization. So, yeah, if somebody can fill me in on why all of a sudden they're believed to be a myth and no longer a part of Batman's rogues gallery, obviously with Ra's al Ghul at the head of it by extension, that would be much appreciated. Anyway, so we have the Bat family pretty much leading a Bat family wide Gotham City um, filled rescue mission to rescue the 600 people, which they do eventually. And once again, Tim Drake really gets to shine in the pages of the final issue, which I'm currently reviewing, which is 939, which he manages to come up with an encryption to basically make the bat drones malfunction, which even Ulysses can't crack, which again is just another really cool character moment for Tim Drake. But also, his bravado might have potentially put him into some hot water, to say the least, especially with the final one-page spread and the final sort of badassery quote that Tim Drake actually gives at the end of the issue, where he's like, "Okay, bat drones, let's dance," and you just see him surrounded by potentially hundreds of bat drones, and he's just stood there on his own, wielding his bow staff, ready to start putting the hurt on the bat drones. So potentially Timothy might be in for either a world of pain or potentially being set up for a death scene, which isn't cool, considering that, this Tim Drake now that we've got in the pages of Rebirth is more akin to the Tim Drake that we had in the pages of the Robin series from the 90s, which was really cool martial art based tech geek genius Tim Drake, which is really, really cool. So DC, Tinian, don't you dare kill him off, because he's really, really becoming cool again. So please, don't kill him off. Just saying. Anyway, so, yeah, we might have potentially Timothy Drake's doom in the pages of the next issue, which I imagine will be the final part of the, or at least leading up to the final act of the Rise of the Batman arc for Tinian and friends on Detective Comics. So, yeah, really, really great series of issues. Like I said, I was initially skeptical about Detective Comics, but I think I'm gonna have to jump back on it. I think I'm gonna have to pick up the issues and put it on my pull list. On the basis that I've really, really enjoyed these last couple of issues, and the fact that I've gone back and reread basically 934 through 939 back to back and gotten a full scope of the story, and it really all ties together really, really well and really comes together in a really fluid and natural way, and the progression of the dynamics and the relationships between the characters and the conflicts that the characters has, obviously with the inner turmoil conflict between Kate Kane and her father, and the fact that, spoilers, kind of, it's been out for a while. So anyway, Jacob Kane is the guy who is leading the colony. So we have an initial family conflict and a conflict of interest and a conflict of morals and ethics on the part of Kate Kane and her father Jacob, as well as him being put into conflict, as well as the colony, with the rest of the Bat family, especially since they are, forgive the French, but they are pretty much bastardizing Batman's mission and Batman's methods and ethics and morals and ways of operating to, although they're doing it for commendable and potentially very good reasons, but again, it's not something that Batman ever wanted his mission to become, which was to take out, terrorist organizations. It was to wipe out crime and to ensure that no one little boy ever again, or no one 8-year-old boy ever again should have to go through what Bruce Wayne went through when he was 8 years old, all those years ago in Crime Alley, because of some punk with a gun. So that was Batman's end goal, was to end crime and obviously ensure that that would never happen to anyone ever again, any family, any, man, woman, child, anybody. But again, the colony's goals are they're not terrible by any means, but they're definitely not kosher, and they're definitely not what a military force really should be doing. I mean, Black Ops and all that kind of stuff has always been a shady and dirty business. But anyway, that's just my take on it. But anyway, as I've said, I've rambled on too long. Really great series of issues. Really enjoyed them all. The writing by Tynion is really great. The artwork by Alvaro Martinez, and particularly Eddie Burrows, is just fantastic. If you're a fan of Batman, if you're a fan of the Bat family, or if you've been hesitant about picking up Detective Comics, I highly recommend it, especially on the basis of these latest 3 issues. And definitely go back and reread 934 through 939 together, as it'll bring everything together really fluidly, and you'll really get a greater idea of the grander scope and the more fulfilling experience of reading the storyline back to back and really getting a grip for what Tynion is trying to do with this new, basically what amounts to a new team book in the pages of the Bat family of books within the DC Rebirth catalogue of titles that they've released thus far. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, feel free to leave a like or dislike in the description, and as always, if you've read the issues, by all means please feel free to tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And if this is your first time here and you'd like to see more of my videos in the foreseeable future, by all means please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.